Let me explain something to you and say this for you guys. Don't confuse someone's ability to develop a business model. Don't conflate. In other words, don't think just because somebody knows how to get money or fails to get money that they didn't make a contribution to the culture.
Well, DJ Akademiks recently made a comment on his podcast that is rubbing a lot of hip hop fans the wrong way. So he was speaking on some of the older statesmen of the culture, and Ak said, "Them dudes be looking real dusty. I kid you not. And don't none of y'all try to come for me, because I don't mess with y'all either." I'm summarizing there. And it prompted a comment via Instagram from one of hip-hop's most popular and most talented and celebrated and decorated figures of all time. It's none other than LL Cool J responding to Akademiks' comment with this.
This is something that came to my attention. It came to my attention that a DJ, and I'm not going to say any names because I don't think it's necessary. A DJ basically said that, a lot of the pioneers in hip hop are, they're dusty, or how can they be the person that, invented hip hop if, they don't have a lot of money. Or if they don't look or represent like they have a lot of dough, right? Let me explain something to you and say this for you guys. Don't confuse someone's ability to develop a business model. Don't conflate. In other words, don't think just because somebody knows how to get money or fails to get money, culture. No one discusses Miles Davis's bank account. We don't talk about John Coltrane's bank account. We don't talk about a lot of even rock musicians, a lot of them. We don't talk about their bank accounts. A lot of great country artists, we don't talk about their bank accounts. This idea that you have to have money or else you don't have any value is a bad idea, and it's kind of like, it's a misinformed way of looking at the world and the culture. There are artists out here. First of all, let me say this. First of all, let's talk about like young artists, right? Who I love. I love the young artists. Let's be clear. I'm very much a guy who embraces the young artists. I believe in every generation.
That comment was followed by legendary DJ Funk Flex, who posted at mentioning both LL Cool J and Akademiks, saying, "LL Cool J, you break down the culture then and now in an amazing form. Probably one of the most amazing words of the year. And in Akademiks, I love you, my brother. I didn't post your commentary because I feel it would be misunderstood. You are entitled to your own opinion. I am a fan of your perspective. I know that some, not all, of the more established veteran rappers have not embraced you like they should. Let's change that. You are the voice of the youth. We could learn from you and you could learn from us. We'd love to see an artist like LL or one you choose to have a great non-confrontational convo with on your platform or mine, whichever makes you comfortable. You from the town. You are very influential. It can't hurt. If that doesn't work for you, I understand. If me and Conway can agree to disagree, anything is possible." I do like the way Funk Flex put that. I definitely believe it would be great for the culture for Ak to sit down with one of these older statesmen that he spoke on, or maybe even a guy that doesn't look broke, like LL Cool J, who's had a phenomenal career as an artist. He's obviously taken that to newer heights as an actor on a hit show, a drama that comes on network television every year, right? So he is a guy that clearly got offended by Akademiks' comments, but he's one of the guys that made it out. He's one of the guys that, I'm not going to use the term dusty, he's one of the guys that's been very successful going from just hip hop and, taking it to next levels. You hear LL speak about the fact that Akademiks is looking at some of these older statesmen as if they didn't lay the groundwork for guys of this era to be successful. I just don't like the nature in the comment from Akademiks, because I've gotten bad advice from very successful people. I've gotten good advice from people who ain't have it like that. Everything kind of can be, you know what I mean? You can get it from anybody. Like, literally, you could get good advice and bad advice from anybody, depending on what you're asking for. I think you need to follow people's character traits and then see how they move in the scenario in which you're asking advice from them for, and then kind of put together, is this a person in this realm with what I know about that person that I should be taking advice from? Do they have good on their heart? Do they have vindictive on their heart? All those things. And I want to say this, because y'all know from my platform's beginning, I like to keep it honest and tell my truth. We can't act like Akademiks is not a guy that has changed the way. I think this goes way beyond hip hop. If you look at the way news platforms from the biggest on down create content, give content to consumers in this hip hop video format. This was not a thing before Akademiks started it on YouTube over a decade ago. He deserves credit for that. And I will continue to give him credit for, if nothing else, being a visionary with platforms. Light years ahead of hip hop. Light years. In that same token, I gotta admit to you guys, when I hear Akademiks make comments like that, it's very frustrating as well. I come from a sports journalism background, and I made my way into music very young in my career because music was open. There were more opportunities for me at 19, 20 in music than it was hip hop. I mean, in sports, excuse me. You got to pay your dues in sports. In music, because there's so many different artists from different ages, different walks of life, different regions, you could get in at an earlier age and do your thing, which is what I was able to do. Though I went to school for sports journalism, I got my start and I really got going with music. Now I've used the music platform to leverage partnerships like I do have with like the NBA, right? What bothers me with hip hop is that there are no barrier to entries. The same thing that bothers me is the same thing that's so great about hip hop. Not just the music though, the journalism component as well. Sometimes I get bothered with Akademiks, these comments, especially on the Twitch platform, because we're mixing two different things. How can we come to this guy for news during the day and then blatant, disrespectful comments at night? It's a tough dynamic. Like, I gotta be real with you guys. It is very tough. I am a person that has an office where I shoot content. Y'all see me now. I am a person that does the just me talking to you, right? There's no second person here. This is all me. This is my delivery. This is my news. And whenever I decide to, my commentary. It's a very tough thing to do and keep it professional. I literally try to stand behind professionalism with what I do because I'm a human that's got to walk outside. I got to live and be a part of society. I bump into artists all the time, and I like to be able to move around and stand on my words and be a journalist. Like, that's why you don't hear me doing podcasts and all that, because I want to be a journalist. I'm chasing good journalism versus trying to be a journalist in the day and then be a podcaster at night. It's tough for people who don't study journalism to understand what are you. That's the problem that we got right now. Because it's frustrating from LL Cool J's side to hear a journalist, or DJ is how he termed it, speak about artists in a way. And I would love to see Ak and LL Cool J get in the room, because there will be things that Akademiks says to LL Cool J that will back him in a corner, that he's got to be like, Ak ain't dumb. Like, he is a guy that he oftentimes knows what the hell he's talking about. But where he's gotten his bad rap is you hear him on these long rants. I'm talking about disrespecting artists over the years. I've seen a lot of the clips. I'm talking about being very disrespectful. It's like that. Like, even if an artist calls you out over your report on them, do you now have the right to then bash said artist because they didn't like your report? Can you never be bigger than can you never be bigger than going back and forth with an artist that you covered? Like, is it not enough to make money off of your reports and information, insightful information on said story? Do you have to always go back and forth with other artists? I think that dynamic with Akademiks' brand rubs people the wrong way. And I'm in the space, and it oftentimes rubs me the wrong way. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this one. LL Cool J calls out DJ Akademiks for making a comment about some of the older statesmen in hip-hop. Essentially, Ak was saying a lot of these guys are not doing as well as artists of today. I think the point LL was trying to make is, if they don't lay the groundwork, somebody had to be unselfish in this to allow artists today, and I mean many artists, not even just in the mainstream realm. There are a lot of artists, hundreds of thousands of dollars on their neck. There are a lot of artists winning today in different spaces. That groundwork and foundation was laid by artists who knew at the end of the day there was not going to be a big paycheck attached to was something that they just loved, hip hop. I'm out.